We are still in the function packet. This is the last day for the function packet. So that's very exciting. But that also means that there's a test coming up very soon. Okay. So function packet, the first page that's assigned to you is page 83. Okay, page 83. And remember, I will display it, so you don't have to worry about displaying it yet. Okay. Try zooming in here. Page 83. Now remember, in the hopes of getting more organized, you should have at the top of your page, you should have page 83 function packet. Okay, and we're gonna write down number 1. Okay, number 1 says, find the domain and range of each graph. Write your answers in the line provided. So we're gonna write our domain and our range a little differently because it's a graph and it has all of these points. So there's not just 2 points on this. That line is a whole bunch of points put together. So anything in between here is technically part of the domain and the range, okay, because it's on there. So remember, domain is your X values. Sometimes what I do is I take 2 different colors and I highlight it. So hold on 1 second when I find highlighters. All right, so now I found 2 different highlighters. Sometimes it helps people understand what I'm talking about. So remember, domain is your X values. So that's these values here on this X axis. So what I'm gonna do is, just for the sake of showing everybody, I'm going to highlight the X axis with yellow. Okay, so we're gonna find the domain and then we're gonna find the range. Now we're only taking from the yellow numbers right now. So we're gonna say domain, and we're gonna put a colon, okay? Now where is this line going from? So what I tell people too, domain is left to right or your X values. So from left to right, I'm gonna take my pencil and I'm gonna say, okay, I'm going along, where does my function start? It starts right there. From left to right, my function started right there. Now I can only take a yellow number. Where on the yellow number did that start? Started at -4. So you can only take that from the yellow numbers because that's your domain, your X values. And when you go from left to right, and I'm starting with my nice straight line, where did I hit? Bloop! I hit that line right there. So that's why I stopped at -4. So I'm going from -4, and it's a closed circle, so I'm going to put less than or equal to. Okay, now all of these will be less than or equal to, less than or equal to. Now, remember, domain is your X value, so I'm going to put an X in the middle here. Okay, then I'm going to keep going from left to right, so I stop there because that was my first. Now I'm going to keep going till that line ends. Where does that line end? Bloop, right there. What value, what yellow value, what yellow X value, domain value did I stop at? I stopped at a +4. Do you see how I stopped at +4? I have to take from those yellow numbers. So I stopped at +4. So my domain is from a -4 to a +4. Okay, now we're going to talk about the range. Okay, and we're going to go ahead and write in our less than or equal to. Range is my Y values, so I'm going to put a Y in the middle. Now for all of these on these 2 pages, I think 2, yep, 2 pages that you do this, they will all be like, this part will all be set up the same. Okay, the numbers is what's going to change. So the range, okay, range is my Y values, okay, otherwise known as my output, okay. Y values would exist on the Y axis. So we're not going to grab from the yellow anymore. I'm going to highlight these in this blue color, okay. Now I can only take from the blue numbers. So domain was left to right. range is going to be from bottom to top. So I'm going to take my straight line, okay, bottom to top. So I'm going to start towards the bottom. Where does this line start? Bloop, right there. Remember, you can only take from the blue. What blue value is right there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. -5. So I started at -5 because that's where my line started. That's why I stopped my pencil. Now I'm going to continue with my nice line. Where does my line stop? Bloop, right there. Remember, I can only take from the blue numbers. What blue number is right there? That is a 0. So my range goes from -5 to 0. A lot of kids find this the hardest part of this packet. Okay, let's try another one. We'll try number 2. Domain. Remember, we're going to go ahead, leave a space, and we're going to go less than or equal to x, less than or equal to, because remember, domain is x. And I'm going to go ahead and write range, less than or equal to y, less than or equal to. Okay, going to go ahead and put all that in. Now I just have to put in the numbers. Okay, domain. Domain is my x values. Again, if you need to highlight it, go ahead and highlight it. I can only take from the yellow. Remember, domain is your x values, so you need to go from left to right. Okay, so taking my straight line or my pencil, I'm going to start on my graph from left to right. When I hit the actual graph, when I hit this U shape, that's when I need to stop. So I'm going to mosey along, bloop. Okay, I can only take from the yellow values. What yellow value am I at? I'm at -2. So I go from -2. Now keep your line going. Okay, I'm still following. I'm still on the U, still on the U, still on the U. Oh no, it stopped. What yellow value am I at? I'm at 2. So my domain was from -2 to 2. Okay, now my range is my y values, and I'm going to color them blue again. Okay, range bottom to top. So take your nice straight line again, or your wherever your graph actually starts. So when I actually hit that U shape, bloop, I hit it right there. What blue value am I at? I'm at 0. So I'm going to go ahead and put in a 0. That's where I started. Okay, that's what I hit there. I'm going to keep following that U shape. Oh no, the U shape stopped right there. What value, what blue value am I at? I'm at +4. So my range is from 0 to +4. Okay, so you have to do your domain and your range. So that's page 83. Page 84 is exactly the same. You have to do that. So you might as well just put 84 with page 83. That's a continuation. Okay, the next page we're going to look at is page 87. Okay, remember, I'm going to display it for you. So page 87. Okay, so page 87 actually just shows examples first, which is good because that's what I'm going to run through. And then I'll do some from page 88. Okay, so it's deciding if it is a function. Now, I said that you can't have 2 of the same x values. That is exactly the same. Now, when you're looking at a graph, it has to pass what's called this vertical line test. So a vertical line is straight up and down. Okay, so a lot of times I'll just take my pencil because it's in my hand because I'm doing my assignment anyway, and I'll say I can only hit this pencil on the whatever graph is written. It can only hit it once at every point in that graph. Okay, so for an example, this is my vertical line. These lines that are drawn in, the straight ones, are the vertical line test. Now make sure that this graph, this squiggle up and down, up and down, up and down, only hits this pencil at one point every place through that graph. So right here, only hitting it once, hitting it once, hitting it once, hitting it once, hitting once, hitting once, hitting once, hitting once, hitting once, hitting once. Okay, I'm through the entire graph. I only hit my pencil once on every single part. So this is a function. So yes, function. Okay. So we're going to try this squiggle line. So see this squiggle here? So we're going to take our vertical line straight up and down this pencil. Am I hitting more than one place on this graph? Ooh, I'm hitting quite a few. I'm hitting right here, right here, right here, right here, right here, and right here, all at the same time. That's not okay. You can only hit one place on that graph at a time. So this is no, not a function. And to explain it further, if we look at this graph, and I'm hitting right here, that's -1, 1, okay? Now I'm also hitting right here, which is -1, 2. What do those 2 points have in common? They're x values. They have the same x value, and that's our rule. We cannot have the same x value. You can't have 2 of the same x's. So that was why it failed the rule. That is why it is not a function. Okay. So again, this is the same squiggle as this one. So this is not a function. So when we go to page 88, this page will go very fast. So again, be organized. Page 88, function packet. On the top of your page. And then we'll just put number 1. And all of these are, is it a function? Is it not a function? Okay, so number 1, remember, take your handy dandy vertical line, which is a straight line. Go through that entire graph. Did I hit anything more than once? Nope, I'm good to go. So this is a function. Number 2, okay, from left to right, handy dandy vertical line test. Uh-oh. Do you see how right here, I'm hitting it twice. I'm hitting there and there. Uh-oh, that does not pass the vertical line test. So this is not a function. Okay, you are going to continue, finish page 88 and page 89. Okay, those are the same. Okay, it's a continuation. Along with those 2 pages, let's look at your next page. You have to do page 98. And this one you're going to need a calculator for. It's the very last page of your packet. I will display it right now, but just so you know, very last page of your packet. Okay. So what we're going to do here is we're talking about exponential functions. So exponential functions get really, really big, really, really fast, or really, really small, really, really fast. Okay. So people always ask me, when are you ever going to use an exponential function? Unfortunately, we're living in it right now. With this virus, it's growing exponentially. So this is actually an example, a prime example of an exponential function, unfortunately. Okay, so anything with like science uses it a lot because if it has a double life, that's growing exponentially. So those are some examples, and interest actually also grows exponentially, some forms of interest. What you're going to need is you're going to need your calculator. Now remember, I understand that some people have different calculators. I can help you through that if you need me to help you. Okay, but remember, for an exponent, we use that little caret button that looks like a little tent or a little like half triangle. Okay, again, in hopes of being organized, you're going to put page 98 at the top of your, and then you're going to put your function packet so you don't understand, so you understand page 98. It's not just It's not of English, it's of my function packet, which is math. Okay, so I'm probably actually going to fill in this sheet. You do not have that luxury unless you printed it off yourself at home. But yes, do it on your other piece of paper. I'm going to display my calculator so that way we're on the same page. Okay. When you're entering in your values here, so they give us a whole bunch of domains we need to find the ranges. So they give us the things that we need to put in. We need to figure out what we get out. Okay. So they're saying put in a 1. So I'm going to put in a 1 for this t up here and then solve. And it says answer to 2 decimal places. Okay, but we have to use the order of operations. So that 15 is getting multiplied against that 1.01, and that 1.01 is getting raised to a power, so an exponent. So what comes first, multiplying your exponent? The exponent does. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna type in this part into our calculator first. So go ahead and watch 1.01, typing that into my calculator, raising it to the power, so that, remember, that's that little caret button. So I'm gonna use this caret button, this little up button, tent looking thing. So I press that. Now your display might be different than mine. Yours might actually go up into a little box. That's fine. Okay, I'm gonna raise it to whatever t value it said. It said 1, so I'm gonna press 1. Then I'm gonna press enter, okay? And then I'm multiplying it against that 15. So I'm just gonna go times 15. You don't have to type it again. It's already in your calculator. You just press times 15, press enter. I got 15.15. So when I put in 1, I got out 15.15. And that works to the 2 decimal places that it's asking. Okay, now I'm going to plug in the 2. So 1.01. Okay, caret button to the 2. I'll get out of the glare here. Press enter. Okay, keep that in your calculator. Press times. We're multiplying by the 15 on the outside. Press enter. 15.3015. Remember, 2 decimal places. So look at that 1. Is that 1 going to round that 0 up, or is it going to make the same, stay the same? It's going to make it stay the same. So we have 15.30 for our second value. Okay. Keep going. 1.01. Caret button to the 3, because that's what it says, to the third now. Press enter. Okay. Now remember, I have to multiply by that 15 on the outside, so I just press multiply right here. And then 15, press enter. Remember, 2 decimal places. So that 5, is that 4 going to round that 5 up or make it stay the same? Make it stay the same. Okay. Now we got to put in the 4. So 1.01, caret button 4, press enter. Times, I pressed it twice, sorry, times that 15. Now is that 9 going to round that 0 up? Sure is. So I have 15.61. Okay, the other part to this, it says, is this a exponential growth? Is it growing as you go along, or is it a decay? Is it getting smaller? So are these numbers getting bigger, or are they getting smaller? They're getting bigger. Okay, so this is a growth. So you need your table, and then you need to tell me if it's a growth or if it's a decay. Okay, now that one went up very, very slowly, but if you ever look at like this, it starts out slow and then it grows really, really fast, or starts out slow and then it gets really, really, really small. Okay, that's what an exponential function does. So some of these numbers might get really, really big, really, really fast, and that's okay. So that's how you do 1 through 6. Type it into your calculator, press the up button, okay? Now, when you get to number 7, you're just answering the questions. Which town is experiencing decay? So which one's getting smaller? And which one's experiencing growth? So 2 separate questions there. Okay. Answer the rest of the questions on that page. That's page 98. So this concludes your function packet altogether. So now every page in your function packet should be completed. Okay. Now, one more thing I'm going to explain to you when I'm on right now is Wednesday's assignment, that asynchronous day. Everyone's going to have this assignment. It's one of those like riddle pages that I always say that I like to do. The reason I like to do them is because they essentially correct themselves. Okay, so if you do the assignment, it corrects itself, because if what you have at the bottom doesn't make sense, then you did something wrong. Go back and fix it. So you're just determining, it says determine which of the relationships are functions, find the number of the relationship that is a function at the bottom of the page and cross out that letter. So remember, if I want it to be a function, I can't have two of the same x values, okay? And it has to pass that vertical line test. Those are the same thing, okay? So -2, -1, 0, 1, and 2. Is that a function? Yes, that's a function. Okay, F for function, or yes, however you want to write that. Number 1 is a function. So you're going to get rid of number 1 down here. So you're getting rid of that letter S. Okay, then you're going to keep going. And then when you're done with this assignment, it'll spell something at the bottom here. You go ahead and type that into that Google form for your answer sheet. So there'll be a Google form along with that.